What's up, everybody? It's D to the J with a roll away, and we are live on Facebook and New Choice Radio. Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, episode 167. Oh, thank heaven, there we are. I have a very special guest this evening, my brother-in-law, who knows it all. No, not quite, but we're going to go there. This is Kim's second oldest brother, and it's Ismael, and he's going to be on the show with us today talking about a lot of things. Really cool guest. I've known him for a while, long as I've known Kim, which has been over 3 years now. So I want to give Ish the floor and let him welcome him to the show and have him share what he would like to share to our viewers. And we will go from there. Ish, if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit about yourself for those who don't know who you are, welcome to the show. Take it away.
Yeah, man. My name is Ish. Former soldier, active duty military, United States Army. And I was active duty for 6 years. I got hurt, and I am now what they would call a disabled veteran. But while I was in the United States Army, I had custody of my niece, Victoria, and she had CP. And it was pretty severe as when she was younger, but we were able to give her therapy. And then being in active duty, we were able to get like the best type of physical therapy for her. So it helped her out when she was very, very young. So we were able to correct a lot of physical problems with her, with surgeries and stuff like that. So, and then in school, she was able to go into like certain programs to help her with her physical therapy or her physical disabilities.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for your service, for what you did for our country. We never want to forget that. I guess my first question is, what was it like? What was it like raising someone with cerebral palsy, being a single father?
It was pretty hard. But I wasn't always a single father also, because I was married at one point. And that helped a lot, because while I was working, my wife would do all the taking her to school, picking her up, things like that, taking her to therapy, stuff like that. So, I had help. I had help in that situation. But once my wife and I did get divorced, I had a lot of support though, being an active duty military. So it was a lot easier for somebody like me, because they have a lot of programs for soldiers, active duty soldiers, especially.
Was there a period where you went through, man, I wish she was still here. This is harder than I thought it was going to be.
Never.
So you just went straight through. I mean, it was like, I mean, I know there had to be things that were hard, but it wasn't. It didn't catch up on you like that.
No. It wasn't ever like, I wish I had that help again. It wasn't that like that. So.
As you went through, what type of CP do you know what type of CP she had, or was she able to walk? Or
yeah, she was able to walk, but when she was really, really young, like she wasn't able to walk until after she was 2 years old. So yeah, that's where therapy came in.
The first thing that I noticed is that you said until she was 2. So when was she diagnosed with CP? Do you know?
I'm believing very early, maybe even during birth, after birth, maybe.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
So she was able to be diagnosed very early. And in my case, I wasn't diagnosed until I was 2, because my father refused to believe there was anything wrong with me, and then we went through the whole, that story there. But it's good that, like you said, being in the military, you had access to the best that you could get her.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard a lot of this too, and I don't know if you experienced any of it. A lot of doctors now are not doing surgeries on children until they're finished growing, unless it's a
Mhm.
surgery that they need very badly or it's something that needs to be immediately corrected. Did you go through any of that with the doctors to wait till she finished growing, or was it?
No, no. Like I said, she had a lot of tension. She was like, she would stand like this with her hands like that, and then she'd be on her tippy toes all the time. So it's like a tension thing. So basically, what they did, they gave her braces to try to stretch her tendons that way, but that was too painful for her because they were so tight. So what they ended up doing was having surgery and lengthening her tendons so she could walk. Both her legs were in a cast for, I think it was like 3 4 months, and then they took them off, and she was good to go.
Was it
She
hamstring
still
and
had the tension thing, but
heel cord, or was it just?
no, it was just the heel cord.
Yeah, I had the heel cords done first, and then I had the hamstring and heel cords done at the
Hmm.
same time. I was in a body cast for mine. Um,
Mm.
but usually, the reason I was asking about did they want to wait a little bit is because as they get older, from two on,
Hmm.
the heel cords and the hamstrings can retighten, so you end up
Oh no,
having.
yeah, no. She was about 10 years old, I think, when she got it done.
Okay, okay.
Hmm.
So
10 years old.
she had grown a little bit.
She had grown, but she was still on her tippy toes, so that's why they did it.
Well, did that help her for the rest of? I mean, the rest of her time. Would you say was it, or was
As
she
far as
still?
as far as walking, yes.
Mhm.
But like the tension thing, you'd have to remind her, like, hey, you'd have to tell her, Victoria, relax, relax, and then she would like put her arms down and loosen her hands
Right, right.
and relax.
So she was verbal as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. With Victoria, most of her friends were like old ladies. She had like a lot of old lady friends.
I noticed when I was growing up, I
Hmm.
I also pulled toward the 30, 40, and 50. It
Hmm.
just, for some reason, I seem to relate more, I guess, to older people, because
Hmm.
the younger generation to me didn't understand. I mean, I
Of
was
course.
when I was two, I was speaking in complete sentences. You show a picture of a boy swinging to a a baby, and they would either say boy or swing, but I
Hmm.
would say boy swinging or that boy is swinging, but I couldn't
Hmm.
sit up or point. So the motor skills weren't there, but the verbal and the intellectual skills were there. So it's
Hmm.
it's quite different when you know what you want to do, but your muscles won't let you
Right.
do it. And I
Yeah.
had the patterning that you're talking about, where when one arm went up, the other arm wanted to go up, and my aunts and uncles and mom and grandfather would 8 hours on, 8 hours off, work both arms and both legs for
Hmm.
it was for a week. To
Hmm.
break that patterning, they had to do it for a week straight, because my brain kept trying to go back
Right.
and revert back to that,
Hmm.
what it wanted, but you can do it. Um,
Hmm. It
were there?
just like for Victoria, it just took a lot of reminders for her.
And it can. I mean, there's
Hmm.
every journey is different. Every level of CP is different. Every case of CP is different. It's never the same. Were there a lot of? I mean, in that time, were there a lot of things available to her to help in school with the IEP and
Oh
things
yeah.
like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. She didn't have to like her hands. She had a lot of dexterity issues,
Hmm.
so she brought home like a recorder where she would record the answers and stuff like that and take them to school.
I had that for a
Hmm.
while, but we had to fight to get it, because my mom, she learned to fight, but as
Hmm.
you know, there's no handbook on parenting, especially a child with a disability. You have to fight for them, because they're at that time unable to fight for themselves.
Hmm.
To see someone go through it and say, "Look, I know this is available. This is what my daughter needs. Let's get on it." And then
Hmm.
once I got the recorder, I also got an extra set of books to take home because the books were so heavy. I was pushing myself in my manual chair, and I would
Mhm.
flip the chair over. And my mom said, "Okay, you're not going to give me an extra set of books. When he busts his head wide open, I'm gonna sue the crap out of you." And then
Mhm.
the next day, I had a set of books home. So that was,
Mhm.
but you learn. I meant, did they give her like any extra time to get to classes or like?
No, they never. Like it wasn't that because listen, I lived on post, being active duty.
Mhm.
I had a house on post, and she went to school on post, so everything was like done through the military, basically. So
Oh
it was a
wow!
different ball game for her.
So it was a military-based school then, as
Hmm.
far as
Hmm.
how beneficial would you say that was to her instead of a public?
Extremely, I believe extremely because just due to the fact that her father, me, was active duty army,
Mm-hmm.
and she was on post on uh, uh, in a school that was on post. It was like completely different respect for her and everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just the fact that yeah, I believe just the fact that she was on post and went to like a school on post, it made it completely different. They were extremely serious about what they were doing with her. You know?
Was she? How can I ask this? Was she treated more fairly with her disability? Do you think than she would have been at a public school? And if so, why?
That I wouldn't be able to answer because I don't. She didn't go to a public school. You know what I'm saying? So that I wouldn't be able to answer.
How were her?
I
Okay,
believe so though.
how were her friendship reactions, and how were her friends from the military school that she had? Was there like a I guess my thought would be a more serious bond because the connection would have been more real because they know in the military school they know what they want and they're going after it and
Hmm.
it's more
Well, here's the
serious.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. With in that note, friendships were a little harder. Why? Parents always go from post to post to post to post.
Mm-hmm.
Military children don't get to have that many friends due to their having to leave frequently. So
Did you have to move a lot in your
yeah.
career?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Um, four at least four times.
Mm. Now I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. I don't know
Mhm.
how much of this you can share and how much you can not. Being of course I don't know. I was never in the army. My grandfather um, was and he did. I believe he was in the army and in the Korean
So he
War.
was in the Korean War.
And I believe he had active duty there. But
I was in
I,
South Korea, so I was probably stationed in the same spot he was.
how was it for you going into the army? Like you said, you were married at the time. You had a wife.
Hmm. Hmm.
How was it leaving and not being able to see your daughter as much as you wanted, or what was it like? What was the mental toll like for you?
That was hard because also I had a son. I have a son too. He does not have CP though,
Mm-hmm.
but that's hard. That's always hard. That's always hard because you're gone for over a year, and when the kids are young, that takes a toll on them.
How are you able to make them, to the best of your knowledge,
Hmm.
to understand? How do you make them understand, or can you? I mean, when they're
No,
mm,
no, I don't believe you can. You can always tell them, "Oh, I'll be back," but they don't know. You know
mm.
what I mean? That year, that's a long time.
Well, and when we were talking, you talked about some of the things, to be because you don't know what you're in for. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day. I mean, You know
Mm-hmm.
what your basic training is. You know what your
Mm-hmm.
assignment is. Charlie's out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know who you got to find or what you got to do. But your mind's on dodging bullets and grenades. You can't not think because the second you drop that guard, you're dead. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm. It depends on where you're at, but yes, that's
I
a situation.
how was the reaction, if you can share this, between your son and Victoria? Were they close?
Yeah, of course,
Mhm.
definitely.
Do you feel that when your son got older, did he take to what what you were doing, and did he did he want to follow in your footsteps, or was there any of that?
No, my son was very young. He was a baby. He was born while I was on active duty, you know.
Wow.
So, yeah, his young age has made it made it hard but simple at the same time because he was so young.
Right. So he didn't have to deal with a lot of the
Hmm.
consequences of not knowing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, don't want to go there, but his mother wasn't very
Right.
um, faithful. I guess you could. Yeah, that's the word.
The flip side of this, and talking to you, we've been friends for a while.
Hmm.
My father was, doing what your wife was doing. It's the reverse role.
Hmm.
And the funny part is, you go through that at a young age. My mom had to play both roles, and I didn't know that
Hmm.
she could, because I for a long time, um, I didn't have that fatherly role, and I think if I would have had it, even though my mom and grandparents did their best they could, I think I would have turned out different, because you can't.
Mm, for sure.
I I, I don't want, and everything that we're going through right now, and the big decision that we have to make that we haven't shared on air yet, is I'm looking at life as I want to do the best I can for what's coming up.
Hmm.
And I want them to know, that I'm going to do the best that I can. I don't care what I have to do or what we have to do. It is easier when there's a couple there, because it doesn't carry one person to do everything. You can split it. You can talk to them. You can understand them.
Hmm.
Now, I I want to ask this, and I don't know if this was ever a thing, but I'm going to ask it, and if you can answer it, great, and if not, I totally understand. When did you? Was there a time where you told Victoria that she was adopted, or
Yeah.
what? What? How did you decide on what age, and what things made you say, okay, this is the time that she needs to know?
I'll put it to you like this. I believe that's all different. Um,
Hmm.
it all depends on the child, to be
Okay.
honest.
Hmm. Their
Um,
level of maturity, you mean?
yeah, for sure. And understanding. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we waited till she was 16, and she took it hard. So
She.
that it's always hard to hear that shit.
Mm.
Excuse me.
No, it's okay. Was it hard because she was, the whole I want to find my real family thing, or?
No, no, because I'm her uncle to begin with. So
Hmm. Hmm.
that's blood already. But the thing is, I guess the believing when you tell them that, you know what I mean?
But
How well they can take it and believe it, and
yeah,
not and you know.
yeah, I get that. I mean, but
Hmm.
but in the same sense, on your end, you're showing her as much love as you can,
Yeah.
and you're doing the best that you can. But see, this is what I meant. Did you ever go through the is this good enough? Because
Mm-mm.
or did you just do the best you can, and that's all there was? I mean,
Yeah, pretty much, bro.
but that had to be how you were raised too. You give it all you got, and that's all you can do. I
And
mean,
that's all you can do. And then you got to understand people are their own person, whether or not they came from you or
mhm,
not. They're still going to be their own person, and you got to respect that. And that's how I feel. So,
right, right.
um, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah.
You know, I remember a conversation we had just recently without letting the cat out of the bag. You know, each individual person's going to be their own person, and they're
Hmm.
going to have their own thoughts and hopes and
Yeah.
dreams and
Oh yeah.
things they want to do. You know,
Hmm.
whether you want them to play football for the Washington Commanders or
You mean the
whether,
New York Giants?
no, I mean the Washington Commanders,
Mhm.
or whether whether you want them to go off and play baseball or golf. You sit there and you go, wait a minute, I can't do that. They've got to figure out
Yeah.
their dreams are, and then you support them. I
Hmm.
mean, you can guide them. You know, I've wanted a child since I was 30 years old,
Yeah.
and thank God the Lord's going to bless us with that.
Hmm.
But I look at it now and I go,
You
man,
gotta get the baby a jersey.
I got to get a baby a jersey. I look at it now and I got to go. I go. I have to make sure that this is not my. How can I say this? I want to
Your
give him
projection?
right, right. That's exactly what I was trying to. I want
Hmm.
to guide him on the path that he's going on, but I want it to be his path
Yeah, of course.
because I think so many parents push their children into this, and this that by the time they're 15, 16, they've tried football, volleyball, baseball, this, that, and the other. How do you know what they want to do? Did you ask
Yeah.
them? Do they want to paint? Do they want to sit in the street and look at the cars go by and count
And
the
see,
lights?
I got you there. But here's the thing, DJ. You as a parent,
Mm.
you're gonna know. You're gonna know what they like because they're gonna sit in their room and do the shit they like, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, you like that? Okay."
But but that's, I mean, in the younger form, isn't that
Hmm.
kind of the same? They're going to color and they're going to paint and they're going to draw and they're going to.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what their passion is until.
Neither do they, though.
Mm,
You know.
yeah, yeah, true point. Yeah,
That's
I,
why they gotta sit there and do shit, experiment.
no, I totally get that. I
Hmm.
think that it's harder when see my mom never told me you can't. You know, she let me try everything that I wanted to try, whether I fell on my face. And she had to learn because I'll tell you a story. We we were at the doctor's office, and the doctor's office had a playground or one of those little play places with the blocks and the little thing that you push the beads up with the yellow thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
She said, "You can't go over there. You're going to get stepped on." Mom, I want to go over there. And she put me down on the floor. She said, "All right, if you get stepped on, don't come crying to me."
Hmm.
And there was a lady that walked in and saw me crawling on the floor and looked at me and went, and I went, "Ma'am, I have CP, but you can't catch it." And she turned around with three shades of red, walked the other way, and that's when my mom knew I was going to be okay. But she never said you can't horseback ride, you can't play
Right.
football, you can't play
Right.
baseball. I believe in letting your child experiment for what they want to do, but I believe that there should be, your kids are going to get hurt. They're going to scrape their
Oh,
knees.
yeah.
They're going to fall. They're going to get cut up,
Oh,
and
I
you're.
broke multiple bones, bro.
Mhm. I
Yeah.
just the whole father thing to me. That one is it's a scary thought when
Hmm.
adopt a kid and you're like, oh God, what do I do now? Don't drop him.
Hmm.
Can I put him down?
Yeah.
Just the whole it's and you can't hold them too long because then you put them down and they cry because you put them down. And
Hmm.
I learned that real quick. Okay, bottle, diaper. Wah, I can do
Yeah.
that. That
Yeah.
works.
Hopefully, no colic, because colic is a pain in the ass.
Oh man, I've heard.
Oh, it
I,
is.
that's
They
why
cry every time you lay them down. They cry because they got gas buildup. It's horrible.
and that's why they build
The
the
colic
the
bottles.
bottles. Now we bought
Hmm.
all the bottles and we got the crib and we got. I guess I'll let the cat out of the bag now. We got the crib. We got the bassinet. We got the play place. We got the. I'm like, good God, this kid's got more clothes than me, man.
Hmm.
0 to 3 months, 0 to 6 months, 4 to 5 months. I'm like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
And you go through it and you go, okay, this is about to happen. And you got to go in the courtroom, and you don't want to go in there and go, Your Honor, I got 12 teeth and 2 cans of beans. This kid's ready to come home.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that, but I was talking to Kim, man, and I've always thought that I would be a great father until moment, because we don't drive, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you if something happens, you got to get your kid to the doctor. If something happens, but there's always 911. There's always,
Mm-hmm.
and you look at it and they go, and my friend sat me down. He goes, man, you got more not medical knowledge in your pinky than most people have in their
Yeah.
entire brain, because you've got a medical family. What I mean, there's no book on parenting. You can't
Mm-hmm.
see the things that are going to happen. How much of it for you was trial and error, to be honest?
I'd say maybe 70%.
Wow. In what way? Can you explain trial and error thing?
Yeah. 70% knowledge as far as you knowing uh what's good and bad for the kid, like food wise, clothing, weather, things like that. But as far as that's that 70% of not knowing, that's because you're dealing with a person, a human
Right.
who has their own wants and needs, and they get sick in certain different times,
Right.
um and when your kid gets sick for the first time, that's horrible, because you're trying to figure out what's wrong.
Oh.
That's that 70% part where you're like, oh, what's going on? What do I do? And then you
Did,
figure it out.
did the fear of the unknown ever hit you hard, or did you, because of your military background, because of what you had to do, were you okay? I'm fine. I got this. I
Yeah, I
don't
was about
know,
to
but
say,
mm-hmm.
I don't get scared easy.
What
So,
can I ask? What scares you? Is there anything that scares you?
yeah, a lot of shit. A lot of shit. But, it has to be extremely serious.
Mm-hmm.
Situations like sicknesses.
Were you concerned with like vaccinations and stuff? I meant as she was growing up, especially with your son. You know what vaccinations to give him, what ones should he have, what ones shouldn't he
No,
have.
no, because when you go to the doctor and you go to the pediatrician and they give you the list,
Mm-hmm.
and it tells you what they need to be vaccinated for.
You know, I look at when I was growing up. Hey, Kristen, welcome to the show. Hey, Thomas, how are you?
What's up, guys?
Um, I look at it and I go, we were talking about the flu vaccine and measles, mumps, and rubella, and all these things I
Hmm.
had. You know,
Hmm.
I had the chicken pox. I had to go through,
Yeah,
and
me too.
I got sick. And my mom was there for me, but I always told my mother, when I was 18, I wrote her a letter and I said, I never needed a father because I had you.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was there for you. You were there for me. We went through life together. My mom, until I was 18, forbid me to see my father after a certain point,
Hmm.
because
Oh,
he kept saying, "I'll be there to pick you up in 20 minutes, get your stuff," and it
and he'd
would
never show up.
never it would devastate me. It
Mm.
That crushed my psyche harder, not spending time with my father, and we reconnected over the last maybe 3 years, you would say. I I had to let a lot of go. I mean, to be honest,
Hmm.
because you can't. Because one of the things I realized is I never got a chance to ask him the question, what was it like for you having a kid with CP? You know,
for
how,
me,
I mean, for how did no go on his terms?
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
he never saw me a lot. I never got a chance to go to him and go, how did you feel? about CP? What did you think about your son? You
Hmm.
know, what did and I realize now that I've even wanted to have him on my show
Hmm.
because I want to know how he felt. What's his side?
Yeah.
I've heard my mom's side.
Hmm.
I've heard my dad's side, and I've told him a couple times to grow up, and he's had to learn to grow up, and he has. I mean,
Yeah.
when you're 70 years old and you go, all right, I got fewer days ahead of me than I've got behind me. You got to figure some stuff out. So I told him one day, I said, listen, get your act together, get on my show, and let's do this
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
I guess for you, there's more there. See, you had more structure. I don't know how much structure he had.
Okay.
And I think that fathers are underrated. I think
Oh yeah.
fathers are underrated. I think some moms are underrated because when you're a single parent at all, when you
Hmm.
become a single parent, life drops the ball right there, boy.
Yeah.
Because you don't have that other person to go to
Oh,
and
we
go,
know. Oh, I mean, like we were raised with just my dad, so
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
you know.
But see, and again, so when you're raised, you try to take what they give you
Hmm.
and mold it and use it and hold it. I mean, Kim and I talk all the time because she was in foster care and she knows
Hmm.
more about it than I do.
Hmm.
There's some things she's going to take the lead on. But what I love is, babe, what do you think of this? It's
Yeah.
not, I'm going to do this. What do you think here?
Hmm.
Um, here's the thing, and people commenting now with the mother and father issue. When I was growing up and went to see my dad, he was always drinking or asleep, and I dealt with that. I
Hmm.
dealt with the alcohol. Alcohol can destroy a person. It can
Oh, for
destroy
sure.
a marriage.
Hmm.
Drugs can do it, and
Hmm.
when you confront them, there's a point where you do it with love. There's a point where when I see you do this, it hurts me. What do you think it's doing to you?
Hmm.
So Kristen, I understand where you're coming from there. I just want to know for you. I think because of your training,
Hmm.
that set you on the right path almost automatically because you were, even if you weren't ready, your training, boom, it kicked in, and you're like, okay, got to get this done. Got to figure this
Hmm.
out. Can't worry about.
Also,
Mhm,
like I said earlier, my father being a single parent,
mhm.
you know, there's things you learn to do and things you learn not to. So it was easier knowing that you had, I had help,
Mhm.
with a wife instead of being a single father at first. You know what I mean?
What do you think it was like for him? I mean, talking to your dad as you
Oh, he had a lot of help. For one, we lived with family a lot. So
you guys had a big family.
yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm sorry, my cat is blocking my face,
I
but this is her sleeping spot right here. I'm sorry.
I know you're good, man. She's happy and
Mm-hmm.
we're happy, man. I'm glad you were able to come on the show and
Yep.
I because I told your sister the other day. I said, "Man, talking to Ish is so cool. It's refreshing because he's serious, but he can joke around. But when it's something on your mind and you're trying to figure it out and you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
work through it, that's the guy to go to. Because
Oh
like
yeah, for sure.
we were talking about, the adoption last night and where,
Hmm.
you know, you got this in place and y'all are doing really well and everything, and you go, and the fact that I know this is about to happen, I know God's got it. I'm not gonna
Hmm.
stress about it. When it happens, it happens.
Hmm.
But I'm happier now that we waited because if we would have taken him when he was in the hospital and been asked when he was in the hospital, we wouldn't have got any government assistance. We wouldn't have got anything.
Yeah, and
And
that's important.
the
That's
foster
important.
care worker that we're working with right now is fantastic. She's
Hmm.
understanding, she's caring, she wants to see us succeed. And I think this is the only system we have. When you have people that are in the system that go, look, we want to see you succeed, work with us, go this way, go this direction.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
can I can relate to that. She was answering questions before I was answering them. Boom, boom, or no, she was answering questions before I was asking them, and I'm
Yeah.
like, she must have been reading my mind because I had 1, 2, 3, 4 set up, and I'm like, bing, 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 And
Yeah.
I just, I guess going into it now, it's that first year, man. You want them to bond with you. You want
Yeah.
them to get to know you and their scent and the whole. Be careful with the dog. Don't let the dog jump up on the baby. But see,
Hmm.
we brought the dolls in and let
Hmm.
the dog sniff the dolls, and she's all kissing them and loving on them, and I'm like, all right, you know. But
Hmm.
we were looking today about, we got this little thing that you can hang their toys up on and play with them and all this,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know. And then I'm looking at it going, oh, look, it's an elephant. And we got the elephant instead of the giraffe. It was cuter. And I'm
Hmm.
made a baby decision. That's weird. We got a
Yeah.
we got a dresser for the baby now, a storage thing
Hmm.
for him because this child has got more clothes than the Pope. I mean, it is like whoa. We were.
He has more clothes than we do.
Is it fun for you to go buy this, buy this, buy this, and then you're like, oh my god,
No. No,
that's not.
bro, because you're gonna figure out quickly how expensive that shit is, and it gets annoying. Especially when they're going to school and they're getting bigger and bigger, and you got to buy new sneakers, new pants, new shirts, all that shit. Then comes like the school stuff, like the books, the pencils, the backpacks, all
Mm,
that stuff.
yep, yep.
Yeah, that time of year is fun, but not fun at the same time.
Well, and again, we were talking about the last night. I'm like, look, I know how to add, multiply, divide. I can do
Hmm.
equations. I can do some. But this new stuff they got now, this new math and this new, oh Lord, add it up this way. I'm like, what? Look, I know how to get the answer.
Uh-oh.
I know. Wait a minute. Oh, we lost him for a second. Hopefully he'll come back. Give us just a second here. Got to see if we can bring it back in. Yeah, there he is. Hang on a second. Let me move this over. There we go. All right. So Onyx jumped down and clicked you out.
Yeah.
So we were talking about going through and how am I going to help him with his homework when I don't know the
Hmm.
answer because
Hmm.
the new math they got now made my head hurt. I'm like, y'all, that's not
Yeah.
the way we used to do it.
Oh, you're
but
gonna
you
learn with them though. You'll learn. You'll
but
learn.
you said something really cool. I'm sure when you were growing up and you were
Mhm.
going, your parents didn't know half the stuff that you did and you learned
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sitting in school with my kid going, ma'am, can you run that back one more again? Because I still didn't get it.
That time of year is crazy too. Parent teacher meetings.
Mm.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah.
now
Those times it's
did you
crazy.
did you go to school with Victoria at all? Did you sit in on any of her classes or anything like
No.
that?
No, because like I said, being active duty, bro.
You were
Oh
going
yeah.
late.
Early mornings and coming back late.
Man. When all that was done, was it was it hard to adjust to quote unquote
Normal life.
civilian life?
Mm, I'll say no.
You'll say no. Can I ask why?
Yeah, because I was ready to get out.
But was it
Because
still?
listen, when you're hurt as a soldier, when you get hurt, bro,
Mhm.
um, you start having to go what they call a sick call, and other soldiers don't like that when you're hurt and you don't have to do certain shit. You got a
Mhm.
profile or whatever. because you can't do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Military leadership starts to become assholes,
Mm-hmm.
in other words, because they look at you as a useless tool now because you're hurt and you can't do things.
Mm-hmm.
So on the way out, once you get hurt, it's like you can't wait to get out because of the treatment, pretty much.
Wow. So
Yeah.
because you're hurt, it's
Hmm.
see, then you go through the ridicule and it's not your fault. I mean,
No.
see that just that
That's like us, but we were born disabled, but
see, but it's different, but it's not because once you become disabled or something changes,
Hmm.
people look at you differently.
Well, yeah, especially because like when in the active duty military, they don't believe you that you're hurt.
Hmm.
They, most of the time they think you're just trying to get out of doing certain
We
things.
have a question from one of our viewers. How long were you in the service?
6 years
6 years.
active duty.
That wow,
Hmm.
that's a long time.
Hmm.
Um,
I got hurt in
mhm.
training exercise.
How many cities did you? I mean, how many different places did you go?
Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I was in 4 different spots. Going overseas, I was in South Korea
Hmm.
for close to 2 years.
What's it like in another country?
Way different. Um, as soon as you come back from, I'll be honest, when you're coming back from Asia and you get to the airport, automatically you see that the United States people are overweight here for sure. And you notice that, and that's just the healthy living that Americans get, baby. We get the healthy living, we get to eat what we want, and we get to be big like this. But when you go to other countries and they're eating dogs and cats, uh
Mm.
yeah, and grubs like worms coming out of the worms, they cook worms on the streets. uh,
Wow.
ew.
the grubs, yeah. And
Is it just because they don't have the resources that we do?
basically, yeah.
Wow.
And then
So
guess who
that.
their neighbor is? North Korea.
Mm,
Not fun.
mm, mm. And then and that's why we say don't take things for granted because over here we have a lot of things that other
Oh yeah.
countries don't have, like
Hmm.
clean water and
Oh yeah.
food and our
Oh yeah.
our healthcare system.
Sewers. Hmm.
Yeah. Mm. Someone, let's see. Um, Siobhan said, someone said military. Oh, my first love is the Marine Corps. They are Marine Corps. Thank you for your service. So
My pleasure.
Siobhan is one of my mainstays that comes to the show. She's been a friend of mine. She has CP as well. And Siobhan don't play.
Siobhan likes them devil dogs, huh? You
she
like
is
devil dogs, Siobhan? What's wrong with soldiers?
she is boy, man. She gets it
She
done.
kicks ass.
She really does.
Hmm.
But yeah, I know for a fact that you mentioned, once you're over here or you're over there and then you come back, it's like wow, what
Yeah.
a difference. Well, now
Hmm.
were you on ships a lot? I mean, at all, or
If I
like
what?
ships, uh like
Like a aircraft carrier or
yeah, yeah,
something like
yeah,
that?
yeah. That's why my brain went blank and I was trying to think of the word. The
No.
the big aircraft carriers to where you had to eat in the mess halls and all this.
No, I was not in the Navy.
Okay, so you didn't have to do any of that. But
No,
was
Army.
it helicopter or drop
Oh yeah.
in?
Oh yeah. We
Yeah,
had Chinooks, helicopters for sure.
my uncle was a paratrooper in the
Hmm.
army.
Me
He
too.
jumped at a wow. Now
Airborne.
that okay,
Airborne.
okay.
Hmm. Airborne. Let's see if you can see that. That is my maroon beret
Okay.
on the wall.
All
Yeah,
right. Cool.
and my plaque.
What was your MOS?
I was a 42 Alpha.
Okay, I didn't even know what that meant. I just asked it. I was like, okay, all right. Woo. Um, I guess that's master of service or What does that stand for? MOS is of
Uh,
something.
Military Occupational Service.
Okay, yeah, that's right. I knew it was something like that, but
Your job. JOB, but MOS. Mm.
man, awesome. I'm shocked now because we're getting into some of the stuff that my uncle did when he passed, before he passed away. And he was really skinny when he was in the army, man. We got pictures of him in his military
Yeah.
uniform and like jumping out of this, and I'm like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
jumping out of anything, yo, man.
Bro, I was
Woo.
170 pounds when I was active duty. I'm like 230 now.
See, that's me. That's when I was in high school, I wore a size 18 boy pants. When I got weighed at the doctor, I went from 240 something to I'm at 234 right now. Is
Mm.
where I'm at. So I'm still trying to drop down, but yeah, I think, man, that PTSD
Mm-hmm.
has got to be the worst thing. Post traumatic
Yeah,
stress.
I had it. I had it when I first got out. I definitely had it.
Mm.
Sleeping is still an issue. Um, I do
A
4 hour nights
lot of
still.
night terrors and stuff, or just
No, just my body just can't do more than 4 hours without getting scared and waking up.
mm. Siobhan said BC glasses.
BC glasses.
BC glasses.
What about them?
I'm not BC glasses. I'm not sure what she meant by that, but she said BC glasses. I'm just trying to figure out that might be. Did you ever have to use them or or wear them
BC.
or?
No.
Hmm. I know
Is she talking about the ballistic glasses?
might be.
Yeah,
But I'm sure
of
she'll
course.
come in here in a minute. But I know my uncle talked about going through basic training and having to fire the AK, and I saw that thing or the M60.
An
Yeah.
AK? Yeah, no, not in the army. We're
Oh,
shooting off M16s, M4s.
M16 is what I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones you wear after basic training,
The glasses you wear after basic training?
the ones you wear after basic training. Hmm.
I'm not sure what she's talking about.
Okay. Yeah. She said they're
I
the
didn't get
ones.
after basic training.
Birth control
I went to
glasses.
AIT.
Yeah, birth control glasses after basic.
Oh, birth control glasses.
I'm,
Okay, I
I'm
get
not. I'm
it.
not sure. I'm not sure. I ain't never. That was. That's a new one. I thought birth control was a pill you take, but okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
they are thick and ugly, and they issue. That's why they call them birth
yeah,
control.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, they're tan. They got the yeah, the BCGs.
Well, look, we got
Yeah,
about.
the BCG. See, she should have said BCG, and I would have. It's been a while. It's been since
Yeah.
2013, but yeah.
What? Let me ask you this: what's one of your fondest memories about serving?
Me personally, the people.
Mm-hmm.
You meet people from all over. I mean, all over the world. It's nuts. I met a girl from Micronesia, and uh, she was a United States soldier. I met somebody from Africa as a United States soldier.
Wow.
Um, I met somebody from India, uh, and he was a United States soldier.
Is it family? I mean, when you're not hurt. I mean, are they family when you're not hurt, or does it take a while to get used to the different cultures and different ways and
No, because everybody. It all depends. Because listen, when you're in a unit, you're in a unit, and everybody's
Mhm.
doing everything that everybody is doing, and you're getting punished. Your girl should know when somebody one person does bad, everyone gets punished.
Yeah, when we
Everybody.
fall, we all fall. We
Hmm.
survive as a team and we die as a team.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was one thing my uncle said. More, I remember that phrase more.
Hmm.
Doing something stupid could get you killed in the army faster than not changing your socks.
Yeah, and that's why they're real serious. They're really serious about discipline, bro. because you have to be able to follow an order instantly, or you can die.
I just I am amazed at some of the stories that our veterans have told and some of the things they've been through, legs blown off, arms blown off, being able to recall being carried out by somebody or Purple Hearts or um,
Mhm.
anything like that. Man, I'm so glad that we got a chance to have you on the show. This has been awesome.
Nice, thank you.
Like I've got like 9 minutes left. Um, Knowing what you know now
Hmm.
after being in the army and going through what you went through and all of the training, is there anything you would have done different?
As far as,
Just anything. I mean, do you wish things could have been different?
I mean, I believe, honestly, there's a lot of people in this world that wish that. You know what I mean? So, as far as specifically, yeah. I mean, but I believe everybody wishes that they could have done something different.
Siobhan said they are all getting punished. Focus on the mission or you are in trouble.
That's right, Shimon. You're right.
Yeah, I thought a lot about serving our country, but and I'll be honest, I have a fear of guns because I
You
guess
shouldn't. You shouldn't. You shouldn't have a fear of guns at
I know
all.
you shouldn't. I know you
Yeah.
shouldn't, but I guess when growing up, it was there was some tragic stuff, and you gotta learn from it. So now probably with the proper training, I would be okay.
Yeah.
Just under.
Listen, proper safety is the key
Hmm.
for safety.
Hmm.
So, you definitely need to know the weapon that you have.
Hmm.
Um, you know what I mean?
Right.
So once you're aware of your weapon and how it works, it's not as scary.
Did you use the bayonets in?
Well, in basic, they make you, yeah,
Hmm. Hmm.
but you're not using that
Did
when
you
you.
did you have a lot of time? Oh, excuse me. That you would use your combat knife?
No, you don't get a combat knife. That's in
Really?
movies. Yeah, that's in movies.
Okay, so you don't have like a combat or survival knife or a.
No, unless you want to call a Gerber that. So a Gerber is the main tool that you got and has a lot of little knives and
Mhm.
pliers and shit like that. Gerbers are
That's
important.
like the survival tool, kind of.
Hmm.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah,
what your survival weapon is? Your M16 or M4.
because they teach you how to use the butt of the gun and all of that, and you can turn it into a flotation device, right? I mean, if
The M16?
Mhm.
No, you better not put that bitch in water.
No, I meant you can use your like army pants as a flotation
Oh
device.
yeah, yes, 100%, yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
They definitely train you on that for sure. They make you jump in a pool, full uniform, with your boots and everything. They make you while you're underwater. You're taking your boots off, your pants, and you're turning that bitch into a flotation device.
Man,
Yeah, you're jumping off a high dive too.
how hard is that?
Very, because you'll be surprised how heavy it is or how hard it is to swim with boots and full ACU, which is your Army combat uniform. Hmm.
Man,
That's just heavy.
we're gonna have to have you back for a part two. This here, we getting into some stuff I want to find out about now. It's like
Hmm.
me swimming with my chair. I'm
There's a
like,
lot of things I can't talk about strictly because I was in psyops, bro. So spec ops, that special operations, bro.
mhm. Hey
We
man,
did things.
that's duct tape it or lose it, right? Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
man, you're awesome, and thank you for sharing. What you could
Yeah,
share with us.
my
We'd love
pleasure,
to
bro.
have you back for a part two.
Mhm.
To all of our viewers and listeners on New Choice Radio and on Facebook Live, this is a good one. Episode 167. I've wanted to have Ish on for a long time. We've talked about it a couple times. I've had Louis on, and now I have Ish on, and it's amazing to me the difference in style, but you both care. You both care the same way, but
Mhm.
there's just such a difference. You guys are awesome. Again, thank you for your service, for everything that you have done for our country.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Pleasure.
and remember, guys, support your veterans. I mean, they need it. I mean, you know what they went through and what they've given to us, and they've allowed us to have the freedoms that we have. So remember that, you know,
Yeah, man.
support your VA, support your veterans, support all of that, because and if you see a veteran struggling, talk to them. You know, spend some time with them. You might learn something.
You
And
definitely will. Some veterans are a little crazy. So yes,
uh,
talk to them, but you better realize some are a little bit past help
right,
sometimes. Yeah.
right. But I still think, you know, what they went through and what they've done for us is a great thing.
Commendable. It's commendable
Right.
for sure.
Right.
For sure.
So that's going to do it for this episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. If you guys or anybody out there has a story they want to share or a story they think the world needs to hear, do me a favor and contact me at CarterDJ85 at gmail.com. Please write about 5 to 7 sentences. Don't write a book because I'm not going to read it all. And just because you send me an email doesn't mean you're automatically on the show. I have to interview you first, and I will do so. We are on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I enjoy having all the people that write in and some of them that don't and say, hey, put me on your show. And I go, why? You haven't written anything yet. So that will do
So
it for
he's a
this.
psychic. He's a psychic.
That'll do it for this episode. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away saying we'll see you next week.
DJ, love you, bro. Kimmy, love you. I'll talk to you guys later. All the viewers, love you guys, and thank you for joining the show. Come back for the next one.
All right. Thanks a lot, bro. Love you too.
Yep. All right,
All right.
guys.
Y'all take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. How do I get out of here? Oh, leave.